come off your beard?
Probably.
It's like you talk, and you talk the hair out. Lau killed himself in play. Too busy with the meal. Wasn't focused on the game. Can't believe it's real. What the hell have you done, my sweetest cousin? Everyone I know thinks it's the funniest way to end.
I have no idea.
No,
I feel bad because you were so worried about.
No, because it's a tough one. This one's from Trombley. It's 9 Inch Nails.
Oh. I'm not going to be able to get it, but I
hurt myself today.
I only know "Hurt" in the Johnny Cash version.
Oh, yeah, that's a good version. Really, it was tough because Trombley actually had a lot more. He had the middle section. It was going to be really long, but I could not. Like, I know the song, but I don't know the song, so I couldn't get my lyrics to work with it, so I just did first verse and last verse. But we've talked about this before.
Fantastic.
Lowry killed himself, and that's kind of the point.
In game, not like literally.
He's still,
I have not.
So the middle part talks about Obnoxious took a toll, searching for Oblivion Ring, wanted to exile Animar anyway, but instead he lost everything. And so I just couldn't.
That would have worked.
Yeah, I know. I just couldn't get it to work, and then it was going to go really long. So anyways, welcome to CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I am Adam Smith.
And I am Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
We are cousins.
I almost fucking missed
you
it.
Did
I was about because we missed. I didn't even announce, or we didn't announce episode 63 this week.
63.
Last week we forgot to even say anything.
We are almost going to be able to retire here soon.
I see what you did there.
I don't know actually when you retire.
Is this
like 65?
I don't know. Isn't it 62 maybe? I don't know. It doesn't depend on the
Let's
job.
ask your dad.
Yeah, I know.
He's
not retiring. He's building my damn house.
Kidding.
You know, the funny thing is, he said that when he plugs his phone and he hears our podcast, he's going to hear this.
It's going to show up. He's old. Your dad. I'm going to get
such a dick.
Trouble.
Speaking of being a dick, what's our beer today?
So our beer is a Fika Coffee Stout, milk stout with maple syrup, brewed from Fulton. Good. And Fika Coffee is actually it's a Minnesota brew. Like the owner is a hustler. I've met him like once or twice.
He's a hustler.
Yeah, dude. He's all over like the state, all over the area, like the region. He's like busy every weekend just trying to push his coffee.
Nice.
And he has a coffee like shop up in Lutz, Minnesota.
Where our family cabin is.
Yeah, he's a baller. So,
sweet. Cheers. Oh, the coffee, you can totally, it doesn't even taste like it's beer. That tastes like coffee.
Yeah, that's a coffee one right there. I don't know if I catch the maple syrup, but definitely the coffee in there. Mm-hmm. That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, that's good. No, but it was coffee.
Son of a bitch.
It was coffee. I like the taste of it, so I'm going to move my beer over here and Larry's beer right here. All right. So what do we got going on today? What do we?
This is pre-release weekend. We just finished that up, and so we're going to talk about some of the games.
You're really excited to talk about that, aren't you?
Lowry beat Adam.
Yeah, for the championship.
Out of 10 people.
Yeah, exactly. It's a championship. And then we will go into kind of the rest. All the spoilers have been out, so we're going to go through the top like commons and uncommons that we think are good for Commander. I think we have like
14, but we'll probably miss one or two. So
ones that we feel are good for Commander. We kind of had some debates beforehand.
Some of them are just Adam feels, but that's fine.
You're such a douche. I'm glad I'm already drinking my beer. And then we'll go into Commander Spotlight with Ilharg.
The Boar God. That should be really sweet.
I got him in my box. I was excited to pull him. The only one we did not pull in our boxes, which, by the way, check out our battle boxes will be coming out later this week. But neither of us got Feather.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to go and actually buy Feather. But yeah, so it's fine.
It's fine. Or you get Mythic Edition and they might pull it there. So that's
we'll
the
talk about
last
that
segment that we'll talk about. Instead of
yeah.
specs, we're going to kind of discuss about the Mythic Edition 3, which will be coming out this week.
So Adam, for the third time, is now going to try and convince me to buy it again.
Are you going to do it? You gonna do it?
Spoiler, cliffhanger.
Did we get Patreon people to donate for your medical stuff? But yeah,
that's probably why we didn't have any new patrons this week. They're like, I'm not gonna fucking pay his medical bills.
Speaking of, we didn't get a new patron this week, so but we did add something kind of to it this week. New thing that we're starting.
So the idea that we kind of came up with, and Adam put it together it's a token, a reminder token for a lot of the cards that we have already talked about, like how annoying
Ristic Study.
Did you pay one, or else I get to draw a card? Like. Adam put together a token that just reminds people.
Yeah, so I did 2 this week. I have 2 coming next week as well, but the 2 was Ristic Study and Smothering Tide.
Yeah.
So Smothering Tide is the new one that we talked about.
And Smothering Tide is legitly annoying as well, because like when we played last week and we talked about it, I was like, you want to pay 2?
Pay 2 when you draw?
Pay 2? Like it was legit like annoying.
Yeah. So
for me.
The cool thing about this is that you'll take the tokens, and when you play that card, it'll be part of your deck with your other tokens. And when you play it, you just give it to a person, the next person.
And then you can hand it around.
And so it just reminds everybody. Reminder tokens.
Exactly.
Actually, I think we're naming them Did You tokens, or we can whatever. That's what I named it at first.
You can call it whatever you want.
Yeah. Did You tokens?
So when we talk about Did You tokens,
it sounds like, remember Digimon?
That's exactly what I was thinking too. Digimon.
Is that really how this sounds?
I have no idea. I just remember
you just Scatmaned it right there. Did. Or Bugs Bunny.
Digimon.
You should have wrote their song for their show. Probably that show would be here if you were the writer for that.
There'd be a lot of shows that I could help.
But the thing with these is they'll always be available. So like the Proxies of the week, you only get those for that month, which by the way, we're coming up to the end of April. So if you want to donate for our Patreon and everything, get on the ones that happen with April. But the tokens will always be available. So we're going to actually do probably a segment episode with those. So if you guys have ideas, shoot us an email at, where do we go to?
CommanderSmiths@gmail.com.
There we go. Shoot us an email with like maybe some suggestions of like, what's another one that you thought of?
I have a list.
Well, just shoot off a couple really quick.
Off the top of my head.
Well, there was we have Mogus.
Yeah, so you're
spoiler
doing
for this
Mogus
week.
and Grand Arbiter next week.
Yeah, for Trombley and Jeremy, because they both played those 2 commanders.
So like Aura of Silence to remind people that they.
Let's not go through them all because that'll be our segment. But that's just a couple. And if you have some others,
there's definitely cards out there that like. If people aren't paying attention, be like, "Hey, did you do this?"
It'll just be easier for you to not always be hounding people. And
then you can just be like, "Look at your goddamn Digi token."
Yeah, your Digi.
I'm gonna call it a Digi token because that sounds way more dumb.
Digi token. That's what it is. It's a Digi token.
No, I know it's a Digi token now.
Anyways,
we should talk more before part of the cast.
I know that we're almost 10 minutes in and we haven't got to our bits yet. So anyways, we already talked about Gmail. You can go on Twitter. That's where you see the Proxies of the week. You can see those tokens. And also go to YouTube. That's a free way to support our show.
Yep. And we also have battle boxes for War of the Sport coming out.
Right. Yep.
Very cool.
Somebody takes a bad shot. Is it going to be Lowry for a 7th consecutive time?
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Probably not. Odds. I mean, come on.
The odds. Yeah. At some point, you have to win. Like you have to win.
All right, moving on.
Yeah. All right. Let's move into the pre-release stuff. So we spoiled it. Larry beat me. He beat me.
We just had there was like 10 people there, so we had 3 rounds. Started at midnight. And I posted the sweet ass cards that I got for the pre-release. I got the white finale, the black finale, Ugin, and Massacre Girl foil.
And I got my sweet stuff was the Bantu's, or is it Bantu's the monument thing? Is it? No, it's Bolus's.
Oh, Bolus's Citadel.
Citadel, yeah.
2 of them.
2 of them. I got a foil one and then a regular one.
That card is crazy.
It was pretty sweet. So like the first 2 matches, I rolled the guys I went against. Like I was the first. Each time I was the first one done. 2-0 each time. Just rolled through them.
Mm-hmm. And then you 0-2'd?
Yeah, 0-2. 0-3 if you technically played it for fun. And I had a really bad misplay in the second game.
No, like, okay, so like first game, my opponent did have Bolus's Citadel. And he just, plays it. And then he goes, I'll pay. I'll pay.
It was so crazy.
And he just spread way wide. And I was like, holy crap. If he gets one hit against me, he can sack 10 and just kill me. And I was like, that card is so good.
Yeah, that card.
And then I played the white finale for I got 5 tokens out. And he was like, oh, that was really good. And so I ended up being able to like overcome that because a lot of his stuff was cheap. That's why I was able to play a bunch. But that white finale's quite good.
That's how you beat
pre-release.
Me. Yeah,
it's against you, I cast it for 11 total. Yeah. X was 11. So.
But I still then I had the Citadel out, and I went through my almost an entire deck.
Yeah,
and I was like, I think I needed 5 more permanents to do 20 damage to you. I could do 10. I could have done it, but I couldn't freaking do 20.
Yeah. So the pre-release was a ton of fun though.
Yeah. Ugin was fucking tough. When you got Ugin out, really I couldn't deal with it.
I think when we were talking about it a few weeks ago, I think I underrated it. Like it's just like straight card advantage. Like you're putting the 2/2 into play, and you block, and then you get that card into your hand. Mm-hmm. That's really
once you
good.
got him out when we played, I couldn't get to him. I didn't have any removal for planeswalkers, and I just couldn't get through because you were putting a 2/2 out, so I couldn't get through there.
And the other thing with Ugin is like if you don't have enough of a board present, you just take out their biggest thing. Mm-hmm. Like it's really, really good.
One thing that I really liked is the Poor Man's Bitter Blossom, the Dread Horde.
Sure, that was really powerful.
That's a pretty sweet card because people don't realize, you're losing a life and you're adding 1 counter to your army or zombie army or whatever. But once you get to 6, once it's at a power of 6, it gains lifelink. So you gain all that life back. Mm-hmm. Lowry, I tried to do that to him, and that's where the big mistake came in is I attacked. He was a 5/5 flying because I had another creature that gave my zombie tokens flying. Mm-hmm. Lowry blocked. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be a trickster because I'm going to cast a spell that's going to amass my zombie army to make him 6. And then I killed off his 5/4 when instead I should have killed your...
I don't remember. There's a zombie where you pay 3, sacrifice a creature, and then you gain a life and draw a card.
And so I should have done that. And as soon as I killed his guy... He sacked him, and I was like, "Oh!"
So I sacked the blocking creature. Yeah. Oh, you were going to kill that blocker?
No, I was going to kill
the bigger guy,
the sacrifice guy.
And so, but like just being able to block sacrifice, the creature doesn't deal any damage. I gain a life and just keep drawing the card. That zombie was quite good.
And that's how you ended up winning because then you were able to draw, like you just kept drawing land and you were still sacrificing. Like I kept each turn attacking. I think I went through 5 turns of attacking. You block, sacrifice. And in the meantime, I was down to like 7 life, 6 life, 5 life, 4 life. And
the Dread Horde enchantment was just like slowly killing you. And I was like,
and then you finally got into your finale was how you won it. Yep. And you were drawing an extra card more than I was. And so it was a complete mistake there. But we played a 3rd game and you won that one. So it didn't matter. So you would have won anyways. Stupid Adam.
Magic's fun.
Yeah, but it was fun. The amass was, I still don't get it because I feel like if you're making an army, it should be multiples.
Wide.
Yeah.
I think that's a weird feeling because I did catch a couple people like putting another army token into play, and I was like, no.
No, it's only on that one. If
it builds high, even though that's not really an army. It should be
like a brute, like it's just getting bigger, muscly.
Is that a new creature type?
Muscly chicks.
Chicks?
I don't know.
I mean, whatever you're into, that's fine.
I wasn't saying that's what I'm into. Oh, that's my morning show wearing off on me. Like, anyways. But I don't know why. I might delete that out of here. Just cut that out.
You shouldn't.
I got to take advantage of me still doing the podcast edits because someday you're going to take over.
Someday, as in like
soon.
2 weeks?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily take over right then. I got to get you used to it, but like, As soon as that, I was thinking about it, I was like, when Lowry takes over, he's probably not going to cut out all my stupid stuff I say, and he's just going to leave it in there.
Definitely not. I'm going to leave it in. Whatever I laugh at.
Was there anything else you took from the pre-release?
I never got to cast Massacre Girl. It always felt like a weird...
Because you'd be killing off all your stuff?
Yeah, I worked really hard for all that stuff.
Well, and you normally had a good board presence, I'm guessing?
It was all right. It wasn't any. I mean, I did. I went 3-0, but
did you 2-0 2-1? You lost to Ilharg once.
Yeah, Ilharg whooped me. The gods in pre-release are really hard to deal with.
Yeah, 6/6 trample. Bring something out that doesn't even
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's good. I thought it was a lot of fun. The Planeswalkers are really cool, and I thought this was a great set.
Yeah, it was it felt like you were just getting something all the time because you're getting a Planeswalker and everything. Like it made it feel like every pack wasn't a dud necessarily.
Yeah,
you were getting an uncommon one because even the
unless
static
you got
abilities.
Arlen, but that's Arlen's awful, and you made me talk about that.
Wah, wah. All right, so should we move into our our spoilers
the
of
rest
what's
of
left?
The uncommons and commons.
Let's hit up the commons since there really
we
isn't
have
that much.
2 that we want to talk about.
So we wanted to talk about the white Gideon sacrifice. Go ahead. You can. Or let me zoom it in for you. Yeah. So it's
vision impaired.
It's 1 white instant. You choose. Oh, and then I moved it so I can't see it. You choose a creature or planeswalker you control. All damage that would be dealt this turn to you and permanents you control is dealt to the chosen permanent instead. So you can just redirect everything to a little creature that you have and kill it off and all the damage. It's kind of like a fog in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it seems really powerful that it's just redirecting all of the damage. It's like a weird fog. But you can also just
throw out a stuffy
doll or something just indestructible or something that can actually take all that damage.
I feel like we talked about this card before, but maybe it was off cast. But I feel like
we definitely talked a long time just going. I feel like it was off cast.
Yeah, because we wanted to talk about the common stuff. But
just in case we're not going over it, this seems really cool in Feather potentially because you're targeting your own creature, so it's just like an always fog.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the other one that we're going to talk about,
Mana Geode.
Yeah, that seems. I think it's pretty simple. It's a 3-mana artifact. When it comes into play, scry 1, and then it taps for any mana that you want.
So we already play with 3-drop any color mono rocks, and this one just kind of adds a nice ability to scry.
Yeah, I think it's something you should definitely consider. I don't know if I'm going to play with it.
You play with this over Monolith.
I don't play Monolith.
Just saying, if you're playing Monolith, play this instead because you get to actually scry one.
Yeah, and it was really good in the pre-release as well.
Yeah, you played with it. I didn't even get this in one of those packs, so I never got to play with it.
Wah, wah.
All right, so we go into the notable commons.
Uncommons.
Notable uncommons.
We're going to talk about
I'm trying to scroll at the same time and then multitask and read.
Let you chew
and I'm waiting for you to start doing your pointing. That's you're supposed to point when we get to the cards.
Really. Liliana's Triumph.
That's the point.
Liliana's Triumph is solid.
We are recording. People are just going to see you point. Yeah.
Colorless and a black, and it's an instant. Each opponent sacrifices a creature, which is solid. It's an instant speed sacrifice for everybody.
Yeah.
Or each opponent, not even you. And then if you have a Liliana Planeswalker, each opponent also discards a card. I don't really consider that second part of the card because having even if you have 3 to 5 Liliana Planeswalkers in a deck of Commander, it's just unlikely that you're going to have both of them because you can't really have any Lilianas as your own commander in legality wise. So
you can, but it's
still an instant speed sacrifice is pretty solid.
Yeah. And then making them discard is pretty nice if you have that bonus of having a Liliana. So if you don't have a Liliana in your deck, are you going to play that?
Maybe. If I'm if you're playing with what's that Eldrazi that you get to steal their stuff when they're sacrificing?
That one is, oh gosh, what is it? It's not the Abomination. No,
you're talking. Yeah, you're talking about the black. The
that's
one
Smothering
black.
Abomination. That's not the one. No, I know. It's It That Betrays.
It That Betrays.
Yeah, we got it at the same time.
So I would play that with this. Anything where I'm playing like maybe Flashbang Marauder, where you're wanting everybody to sack, like. I would consider this. I don't know if I'd play it because sometimes you're running reanimation with that kind of thing and just attrition-wise.
And sometimes it's better to have a body on it instead of just having, a spell. But it's an instant, which is really nice. And it's each opponent does it too.
Yeah.
It's not affecting you, which is really nice. Evolution Sage, which is 2 and a green, 3/2. This one's so fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that's really good.
Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, proliferate. This is going in every Atraxa deck, every deck that you're using counters, 1/1 counters on stuff, anything
or
like that.
Planeswalker decks, or
it's
just landfall. Why don't you just call it landfall? Make it an evergreen mechanic.
Because they didn't want to say that was in the set, so they just had to
just make it evergreen, like first strike and stuff like that.
You know why? Because it's going to say landfall proliferate, so it has two evergreen things right next to each other. Then they need other words in there. They can't have it just evergreen.
Yeah, so 3/2 for 3 that proliferates when a land comes into play. Like a fetch, you're gonna proliferate 2. Like I really butchered that word. Right there.
Proliferate.
You know what I mean? So like
coffee beer, man.
I'm awake. So yeah, it's a solid card.
Yeah, get these as much as you can. Get as many of these as you can because in the future, I think this one's gonna go up. If you can get foils of these,
super cool.
Nissa's you're next. Sorry.
Yeah, step on my card. Nissa's Triumph, green sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic forest cards. I've never made that noise in my life. So 2 forest, basic forest into your hand. If you control a Nissa Planeswalker instead, search your library for up to 3 land cards. Reveal them, shuffle. And so like this one definitely. I understand, like, it's unlikely that you're going to have a Nissa, but when you do, it's 3 any land.
So this one you're considering when this is in, whereas Liliana, you're not.
Putting 2 forests into your
that's still
hand
really good.
for 2 green is really solid. But
because it doesn't
it's basic forest.
Yeah, it does say basic.
So it is basic forest, but going and getting any lands when you have a Nissa. That's really good.
And it's 3 land cards, which is really
3.
Nice.
Yeah, this card feels really powerful.
Cradle.
Yeah. Anything.
That's what I would get. Paradise Druid is our next one. 1 green, 1 colorless. Notice we're just talking about a bunch of green cards. We skipped all the
Green's
other.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites. Elf Druid, 2/1. It has hexproof as long as it's untapped, and then you can tap it to give you any mana of your choosing. So typically probably won't die around till your next turn because you're not going to be able to tap her right away, but it's kind of nice that she has hexproof. What else? There's is it Sylvan Carotid? Is that the right one? No.
Yeah, the one with hexproof.
Hexproof.
Yeah, 03.
Yeah, I like that one because it's kind of like a wall and has the hexproof.
And the nice thing is just like sometimes people just pick off your mana dorks because they can, and you can maybe more focus on like instant speed stuff with this so that there's less time for it being tapped. But also just knowing that you're going to have a mana dork the next turn unless there's like a Wrath style effect makes it a very good consideration.
Yeah. Next one is this guy right here.
Yeah. God Pharaoh's Statue is an artifact for 6. Spells your opponent's cast cost 2 more to cast. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 1 life. This one seems like really good. It might be a little too much for what's going
6,
on,
but
having them like basically lose 2 turns, like that's really slowing them
like
down. Unless
Trombley might play.
Stop bringing his name up on cards we don't want him playing. So yeah, but this one seems really kind of powerful and just it can really lock down a board, like slow them down. So I think it's pretty cool.
Okay. One card we didn't have on the list, but I'm looking at it and it's becoming more intriguing. I know it's a really high casting cost, but it seems decent.
I'm not talking to you.
I guess it is. Oh, it's artifact. It's the Storm the Citadel. Like, you don't like that card?
Read it.
So it's 4 and 1 green. I know it's a sorcery. Until end of turn, creatures you control get 2/2 and gain whenever this creature deals damage to a player or planeswalker, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. So it's all your creatures get 2/2. So not only are you pumping them, but then you're also able to destroy their enchantments or artifacts as well. I feel like that's actually pretty decent. If they get through, but if you're playing a bunch of tokens or whatever, you just need to hit one of them hits through and you get to decide on an artifact or enchantment. That's pretty good, actually. It'd be even better if it wasn't defending player, then you're hitting somebody else and destroying somebody else's.
Yeah, like
but still,
both.
You're pumping them 2/2, which helps, with that. But then you just
you just like winning the game though if you cast like a overrun effect where you're giving +3/+3 and trample?
Yeah, but that's not what this effect is doing here. It's just more of trying to remove something from the game. This is a interesting, like it's pumping the creatures and at the same time getting rid of a potential thing that's maybe locking down the board or their Platinum Angel or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Board, how are you going to get through?
Well, I'm saying like a Platinum Angel so they can't die or something like that. This is a way.
Yeah.
And it's green. You're having creatures. We're going through the cards, and I was like, I actually kind of like that card. I mean,
now we had a decent sized list.
So now we have 15. You have to round into 5. So
Adam
14 was just weird.
Go up to 20, pretty sure. Next one, Angrath's Rampage. Red and a black for a sorcery. You're being a dickhead. Okay, so this is a choose one of the 3. So target player sacrifices an artifact, or target player sacrifices a creature, or target player sacrifices a planeswalker. I think it's a nice modular spell.
Yep.
So
self-explanatory there.
Moving on. Yeah.
Death Sprout. 1, 2 black and a green. It's an instant. Destroy target creature. Search your library for a basic land card and put it on the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle your library. So it's nice you get a kill spell with it, and then you get to go search for a land. It's a little. Yeah. It's an extra mana or 2 higher than a normal kill spell.
It feels a little expensive, but like
being able to put it onto the battlefield, I think, is a big help.
Instant speed ramp isn't common. Mm-hmm. Think of it like that too. Like most putting lands into play from your library is sorcery speed.
That's a good point.
So, and this being a kill spell attached to it, it's not a bad thing. But 4 mana, you can wrath the board. You can do a lot of stuff at 4 mana. So I don't know where I'm putting this.
Somewhere
in my box, definitely in my box.
All right, the next one is Leyline Prowler. This is 1 black and green. It's a 2/3 Death Touch lifelink, and then also taps for any color mana. I personally like this one. Lowry didn't necessarily.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just I didn't want to talk about it.
I just think it's nice because, one, you can have something that's out as a blocker that people aren't going to attack their big fatties necessarily at you because it's Death Touch, and then you can use it as mana in the same sense of any color, So
sure.
I could, if I'm playing black green,
it's like a weird, and this is where I was talking to Adam about it. Like, it's a weird spot. I don't play the Vampire Nighthawk unless it's like Vampire Tribal. Mm-hmm. And that's a 2/3 flying Death Touch lifelink. This can be good early game and also late game. So I think I do like that flexibility, but I also don't play creatures that give me mana at 3. I do it at like 1 and 2.
I do sometimes though. One is Cultivator's Caravan. I like that one because the crewing ability to that one. That's but it can turn into a 5/5 is the big difference there.
But yeah, I wouldn't consider that a creature. I'd consider it
a vehicle
because if somebody wraths, that's going to stick around.
I would say though, I used to play this. Is it the Scarecrow, the one that gives you any color? I did used to play that.
Yep. And that was not the right thing to do. You played it in your Scarecrow deck.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
No, but I think when I made that, I kind of started using it a little bit more, and now I don't have it in a single deck. So let's just prove my point wrong. Move on to the next card. I do like that card though because of the blocking ability of being able to deter people
relevant
from attacking.
Late game, I think makes it pretty solid.
Yeah.
So There's like a hair that fell on the
I
mic.
saw that too. I saw it blow from your face. I was like,
I want to just be like,
yeah, that's just gonna do that to the mic.
got it.
That was really weird. Did it come off your beard?
Probably.
It's like you talked and you talked a hair out. All right.
Moving on. Mayhem Devil. Colorless, black and a red. It's a 3/3. It's clearly a devil creature type. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent,
can we get his backstory?
Mayhem Devil deals 1 damage to any target.
I think this is really good because it's anybody sacrificing.
You also think it's really good because Saffron Olive said it was really good.
Well, that's what
brought it up.
That's what I didn't even realize that this card was in here, and neither did you actually.
Yeah.
But the fact that it deals 1 damage to any target, so
yeah,
you're able to ping off planeswalkers, players,
also
creatures,
anybody.
So it's
it's not just you or whenever an opponent. Like that seems pretty good.
And it's a Saffron effect. I did pick up foils, pre-released foils for under $1, and he has a way of making prices go up. So I just got it just because this is actually a decent card.
Yeah, it seems really cool. Fetches, all that jazz. And Liliana's Triumph.
Yeah.
I'd play those two together.
Well, think of treasures. Oh, you just said it.
I didn't say treasures.
No, you didn't. I thought you did. I was like, as I was saying, I was like, think of treasures. He literally just said, think of treasures. Like, I thought I was just completely repeating you. Because I was scrolling down.
We used to do that during the first 10 episodes where you'd be talking and I'd be like, well, just think about this. Like, I just said that. I was like, oh, I don't pay attention.
I'm just thinking about what I'm going to say next. That one I was scrolling and I was like, I think he literally just said that. Why am I saying that? All right, so.
Moving on. Neoform. Green and
You're
blue.
You're going to take the next one too, you son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Go ahead. You started it.
Neoform. Green and a blue sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrifice creature's converted mana cost. Put that card into the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it, then shelf your library.
So I think this one's more possibly for other formats, like abusing it. It can be used for Commander very easily, being able to search for.
Yeah, it has to be
the exact
more.
Yeah, so you
one
can't,
more exact. So
you can't go one or less. It's not less, which kind of sucks sometimes because you want to find something else. But
the kind of cool thing about it, I think I saw somebody on Twitter talk about it, is like it doesn't exile itself. So you could go sacrifice a 2-mana creature to go and get. Again, I don't know if Eternal Witness can, but if you're playing it with Eternal Witness, you can get it get it back and get more value and stuff like that.
That makes sense. The next one is Pledge for Unity. This is.
Oh, you did let me keep that card?
I thought okay. Well, you said you wanted to keep it. This was one I was like, meh, but it's decent.
This is definitely one that I like. So
1 green and white instant. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control and gain a life for each creature you control. The nice thing is it's an instant and adding the counters instead of it just being a 1/1 until end of turn.
Yeah, and gaining the life for each creature that you control isn't. Yeah, it's a nice little bonus. But generally, putting 1/1 counters on your gang is almost like, in my mind,
Gangnam style.
It's like 4 mana.
Stupid.
Yeah, it was.
That was really,
that's why I'm not trying not to listen to you all the time.
Wait, can I do a pause on this really quick? So the reason why Gangnam Style's in my head is our neighbor boy. We had that fire going on tonight.
Oh, it's on fire.
So he got a new little, those riding Jeep things or whatever. And they have 4 preset songs in it. One of them is Gangnam Style.
Oh, that makes sense.
I was like, why is this on a little kid, 3-year-old kid toy? I don't know. Anyways, they're just teaching them how to do the dance. And are we done with all these? Oh, that guy?
Yeah, I like that one. Ral's Outburst. 2 colorless, a blue and a red. Instant. Ral's Outburst deals 3 damage to any target. Stop moving.
I was wondering when.
Look at the top 2 cards of your library, then put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. It is 4 mana, but
that's a little high.
It's really close to. There's a 5 mana version of this that deals 4 damage to any target, and then you look at the top 4 and put one into your hand. Being 1 mana less intrigues me for Riku of 2 Flames deck. So if you pay 6 mana for this, deal 3 damage to 2 different targets and put 2 cards into your hand from the top 4. That kind of sounds pretty interesting to me. And
what
so
if
it's
you
like
paid 2 more for the other one and you get to do a top freaking 8?
But it's 7 mana, which is a kind of a big difference there. So, but you can also play both of them in the same deck.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Card advantage.
So next we move into Commander Spotlight.
A spotlight deck.
Moving things over. I gotta go find Ilharg.
We are in a time freeze.
All right, here we go. Ilharg is here. Everything's. It's like that's a stupid joke. I was gonna do another Mitch Hedberg joke.
Please
you want to hear
tell
it?
more stupid jokes. Yes.
So you know how like when you hold the hose and you pinch it and then you let it go and the water comes out like really fast?
Sure.
So Mitch Hedberg said, sometimes I like to pinch the microphone wire and then let it go and have a whole bunch of jokes come out at once. So stupid.
He was genius. It's kind of like a dad joke.
Yeah, it totally is. All right, so I built Ilharg, the Raise Boar, who Lowry lost to. Your only loss last night then, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
My memory's not very good at 4 a.m.
So this is a boar god. It is 3 and 2 red, 6/6 trample. When it attacks, put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. So you miss out on the attack trigger. And then it's also, you don't have to choose that same person. So you actually, it comes on the battlefield tapped and attacking, and you can choose somebody else with that creature. And then at the beginning of your end step, you get to put that, or you put that back into your hand. If the same thing with the other gods, if this is exiled or put in your graveyard, put it third from the top.
Yeah.
So I went a couple different.
So you're just cheating big fat creatures into play?
Kind of. Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
This curve is going to be fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like, that's the hard part with this one.
It is.
So the gist of it is there is one card that's very similar to what it does, and I do have Sneak Attack in there. Sneak Attack, you'll just tap 1 and you choose a creature from your hand and put it into play. It has haste, whatever. You have to sacrifice it. So that's the only thing that I had that did the same exact or similar thing that Ilharg did. So you can stack up on Ilharg's ability and also playing cheating creatures into play.
Yeah, this feels pretty natural to just put it
in there. I know, it was like, it actually wasn't in my list originally, and I was just like, I should probably have another way of doing this just in case Ilharg is not there. And
if you're so devoted to Ilharg, Ilharg,
you got to do it with the tongue
German?
roll.
Yeah,
Ilharg.
Not doing that.
So the main thing that you kind of, you don't have to do it this way, but how I built this deck is pretty much all ETB creatures. There's 4 or 5 that aren't, but for the most part, I used a lot of ETB and taking advantage of that, and I have other ways of doing that here. But let's do the.
So this first package is just like,
this is the big one, so you can just
ETBs.
kind of go through.
Yeah. So Thunder Dragon, which is a 5/5 flyer that when it comes into play deals 3 damage to each creature.
So you can kind of wipe out some things. Isn't it ground creatures? To each creature without flying. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're kind of potentially helping Ilharg if there's a bunch of chump blockers out there. You're wiping those out so he can get through and not necessarily die, because he also gets damage because he's a ground creature.
Correct.
So you got to kind of choose how you're going to attack with everything. So the interesting thing with this is, like, I haven't played it out yet, but I feel like what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of cards in your hand because you're playing stuff coming out. You get to choose, okay, what way is this going to work? Okay, if I attack this player, they have these creatures out. Okay, well, I'll play this one that wipes out their ground creatures, and now Ilharg gets through. So, like, I think it's going to be a lot of planning and being strategic of how you want to attack, because that creature that comes in doesn't have to go for that person either. So that makes things a lot.
It should be interesting. Next one, Sandstone Oracle, which is a 4/4 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, choose an opponent. If that player has more cards in hand than you, draw cards equal to the difference.
Yeah, so that's your draw package. Same with this.
Yeah, and then the next one, Skyline Despot.
So you become the monarch, monarch, and so at the end of your end step, you get to draw a card. We have a couple token generator guys.
Yeah, so you got Goblin Goliath and Mirror Battlesphere.
We also have a couple others in there, but these are the main ones. Which Mirror Battlesphere, you'll get to make a bunch of mirrors,
1/1 mirrors, and then the Goblin creates goblins.
Which the cool thing about Goblin Goliath is if you cast him just outright and have him come into play, you can tap 3 in a red, and if a source you control would deal damage to an opponent this turn, it deals double that damage to that player instead. So you could actually hard cast him to do some pretty
just
brutal
make a ton of damage with Ilharg. One that I remember you playing years ago,
Scarecrow.
Grim Poppet. Yeah. When it comes into play, it has like -1/-1 counters on it, and then you can remove it and put 1/1 or -1/-1 counters on your opponent's creatures.
Yeah, so there's no tapping that's involved. You're just removing counters and putting them on there. He comes in, attacks, take those counters, kill off things, or make them smaller so they don't kill your stuff.
Grim Poppet becomes a 4/4 instead of a 1/1.
Right. And then he goes back to your hand, and the next turn you do the same thing. So it's a way to remove. It gets rid of indestructible in a way.
Next one, Godo seems bonkers in this.
So Godo will, each time he'll come in, you go search for an equipment, and it comes into play. So there's probably, I think I have 5 or 6 equipments in here. So you have the sword. We'll get into those a little bit later. So each turn each time he comes in, you're going to search it, put it into the battlefield. There's certain ones you got to get the Hammer of Nazan. So it comes in and it attaches immediately, and then the other ones will all attach immediately. So you kind of get that started with him.
Next one, I know you've been kind of excited about it.
I'm excited about this guy.
Mindclaw Shaman, which is a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals his or her hand. You may cast an instant or sorcery card from that player's hand without paying its mana's cost.
So even if you miss, you at least get to see what's in somebody's hand. You're like, okay, I saw your hand. Okay, if you can get him to not die, he's only a 2/2. So that can be brutal, but if there's somebody that's open, you attack with Ilharg and somebody's open, you hit them. You don't have to do that player as the hand you're choosing. You can choose anybody that's out there. So you check out, all right, I'll check your hand, and then so on and so forth. But let's say they had an extra turn thing that costs 7, 2 extra turns, or what's the double the 2 extra turns is Beacon of Tomorrows.
No, that's just 1, but that shuffles back in.
That's
it's
right.
Time Stretch.
So, I mean, if they're holding on to it because they don't have the mana and this guy comes out and you're like, oh, okay, I'll cast that for free.
Yeah, you can definitely target like the Niv Mizzet Perun deck.
Exactly.
They're going to have a spell in their hand. And then you just get to draw 2 cards or do anything really cool.
So I think it has potential. We'll see how it works out, but I'm excited to use that. And then the removal guys.
Removal with Duplicant and Meteor Golem.
So when they come in, you'll either get to exile one thing or destroy. I think the Meteor does destroy a permanent.
Yeah.
Non-land permanent. So those are 2 removals of entering, so you can continuously do it.
Then you have a dinosaur.
So that'll kind of go with
Avatar.
Yeah, so it goes with Inferno Titan, which they do 3 damage when it comes in. The thing I like about the dinosaur is it deals 3 damage to a player, and you get to choose a planeswalker or a creature to do 3 damage to. So.
And the one just because your curve is so freaking high, Combustible Gear Hulk. When it comes into play, you have an opponent choose if they want you to draw 3 cards or have those 3 cards go into the graveyard and they take damage for the converted mana cost.
So with everything being like Larry just said, with everything being so high in casting costs, I'm like, fuck that. You draw the 3 cards.
You can draw. Yeah, card advantage is real.
And if they don't, if they decide to, and the cool thing too is he has first strike too, so he kind of protects himself a little bit. He has that first strike ability, but he'll come back to my hand. I get to do it the next turn, so it's giving me a little bit of card advantage or potentially wiping somebody out.
If somebody's like, I don't want you to draw 3 more cards.
Yeah,
you can
potentially
you can take 15
at
damage
least,
pretty easy.
All right, and then what's the next package?
The next package is going to be multiplying your enter the battlefield effects.
Yeah. So I did a couple of things here. Some of these might not necessarily make the list. I think I only have one more cut. But these I think are all in there.
So the two that are very similar, Minion Reflector and Flame Shadow Conjuring.
So they don't seem like they would fit because you're like, well, it's whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, the Flame Shadow pays one or two colors until you make a copy of it. Well, they're already attacking because you tapped and attacking, so those won't come into play attacking. But with everything having an enter the battlefield trigger, you potentially can make some multiple trigger thing, and it's only for one. And the idea of this is you're going to be attacking with all your mana open, because a lot of the stuff that comes in, either they tap to do something, or like this, you tap to make multiple tokens of it.
Panharmonicon, which doubles everything.
Just going to double everything.
Kiki Jiki, you can just sit back and then tap and copy that bigger one. And then Mirror Match, which is Mirror March, which is a new one.
Yeah, which in Arena when we played it, I got you once with that.
Yeah. He did the Burning Sun's Avatar on Arena.
So that dinosaur, just like,
and he won 19 flips in a row.
It was ridiculous.
It was not fun.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. They're really high casting cost stuff, so we'll see if they stay in. I got to test this out. I mean, that's the hard part with this deck so far is the curve. I haven't even got to test it, but I'm hoping with the mono rocks and everything like that, that'll help. And the other part of it is I don't have to worry about my commander tax, because he's going to go, if he dies, he goes third from the top. So I'm not going to go put him in the command zone typically, unless I have to.
Yeah. Like if you had a lot of mana up, you can probably do it. And that's one thing that I don't think I mentioned last week when we were talking. I played a couple games with Oketra. If you don't have card draw, it does feel like forever to get to the god.
The next god, yeah.
To get your card back. That does make it a little tough. I think people will get used to it or figure out how they like it, and it really depends on where your mana's at and everything. So, next package is your control part of Red.
Okay.
Is really known for control.
So the part I started making this deck, and I was like, okay, I need Ilharg to get through and like unblockable and like get it so that he can't be blocked, or my creature that comes in doesn't die. Because I want to enter the battlefield effects, and I'm like, I want it to keep doing it over and over. Well, as I was thinking about more, I was like, what I can do to counteract that is I just need one of the players to not have creatures or creatures that can kill mine. So what I decided to do instead was I cut out one of them, but I have 7 things that either creatures or spells that when they come into play, I take control of the other person's creatures.
Yeah.
So the main ones...
I kind of rearranged everything.
Okay, go ahead. Yep, do the order you want there.
So one that I actually learned about tonight was Mob Rule.
Which is an interesting card. I like this
one. So you choose one. It's 6 mana sorcery. Gain control. So choose one out of the 2. Gain control of all creatures with power 4 or greater until end of turn. Untap those creatures. They gain haste until end of turn. Or gain control of all creatures with power 3 or less. Yada, yada, yada.
So it's a poor man's Insurrection, which that's also in this deck, of course. But I mean, it's 6 mana, so you're 2 mana less, right? 6 mana. But if there's somebody that has a crap ton of tokens out there, you just take those. Or if everybody has their big fatties out at that point, you take all those. So it kind of gives you the option to, and it's take everybody's. They're all untapped and everything like that. So,
and then the next 3 are when these creatures come into the battlefield, you're stealing creatures. Zealous Conscripts is you get to steal any permanent. I think you spec'd on that last week. Conquering Manticore, which is any creature when it comes into play. And then the big boy of Molten Primordial, which comes into play and you get to steal a creature from every opponent.
Yeah. So That can be kind of ridiculous, especially so with all
like
this
doubling it with the minion reflector and
just taking a bunch of crap. The nice thing is none of these are legendary, so you can multiply those up and everything. So you can take everything, and then the way you get rid of everything, this is kind of a way to board wipe in a way.
So you're like control deck. You're kind of a dickhead. So you're sacrificing your opponent's creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's mean.
I've wanted to do this, like steal people's creatures. You've done it before. I've never been that big of a dick. So
I've done it with 2 different
I know. So I've wanted to do this with red for the longest time, but it just never fit, and this seemed like the perfect time to do this. So I have 8 different sack outlets, and typically what I did with all these is either they're very cheap or free. Or and also multiple times. I didn't necessarily. I might have one in there that's you can only tap once to do it. Okay,
so like Dark Dweller Oracle, which is a 2/2. This is from the current core set. You can pay 1, sacrifice a creature, and then you exile a top card, and you can play that card.
So that one added a little bit of card advantage, which I thought was interesting to add into it. So that's
Altar of Dementia is sacrifice a creature. And you mill them for the power.
Yeah,
which is probably really good with when you're copying those creatures and putting those tokens that you can't attack with, and you just sacrifice them for value.
That's actually a good point. I wasn't thinking of that. I was more thinking of stealing everybody else's creatures and doing it. But yeah, my tokens. It's actually
so it has a little bit of a double value there as well. Spawning Pit, which is I think that was another spec that you had last week.
Yep. So that was the being able to sacrifice, and then you're able to tap to make your tokens.
One of my favorites, Goblin Bombardment, which is sacrifice any creature you control and deal 1 damage. And then Thermopod, which is...
I like this one. So it's big, but it's also going to come out with your Ilharg in a way, but it's sacrifice free. You get to sacrifice a creature, add 1 red. There also I have the altars on here too. Those are kind of your typical sacrifice.
Come on, of course you do.
You gotta have those in there. So I have both of those. You have Ashnods and Phyrexian altar. Phyrexian altar. So those both are in there. What's on the next topic?
When damage is dealt.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, I have 4 creatures that deal damage. That was another
idea that you were running with.
I had about 10 of them before, and I cut them down to just to 4 because I was like, I'm going to focus more on the edge of the battlefield. But
I love Steel Hellkite
because that's a way to remove everything.
Of a certain converted mana cost. Like that's great. Balefire Dragon.
So you're dealing damage when it deals damage, it does it to all their creatures, so you wipe it all out.
To all of their creatures, and has flying. And again, you can attack somebody else.
Yeah.
So that seems good. Hellkite Tyrant.
So that's a way to steal everybody's artifacts, and then it comes back to your hand, so you don't have to worry about somebody taking it from you and doing it back to you.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that.
And then if you have
boom, get it in, steal all their artifacts.
Thanks for the soul ring, buddy.
And then if you have 20 or more artifacts, you
win the game. But I think it has to be at the upkeep.
Yeah.
So
upkeep.
It has to be in play.
And then one that I should probably play with, but Grenzo Havoc Razor.
This one's going to be fun.
It's 2 red for a 2/2, and then whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, choose one of these. Go target creature that player controls, or exile the top card of that player's library until end of turn. You may cast that card, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it.
So card advantage is probably your number 1 thing to go after, but late game you get through, somebody's not, they're open or whatever, you get through, do damage to them. You goad all their creatures so that they're all attacking each other.
They have to attack it.
And there's no tapping that has to be involved to do this. You're just hitting them. Once you get through, they start goading, and you're like, all right, well, that creature has to attack, and they aren't attacking you. So it's kind of keeping you safe,
and you don't have to attack with him either, which is nice. He's just almost acting like an enchantment back there.
So I think that one's going to be a lot of fun to play with. I've been wanting to put him in a deck, but this seems like the perfect home for him.
Yeah, no, definitely with a bunch of big fatties that you're going to be doing whatever you want.
So that kind of leads into the next package because, that's making people, when you goad other creatures, you're probably, like I said, you're probably going to use the other ability, but the goading is something that makes it so people aren't attacking you. But these are kind of similar things to hinder that That's the
quote unquote protection.
Yeah, protection. It's the condoms.
Protecting you.
Condoms of the deck.
That's a good.
Yeah, it's the condoms of the deck.
So you got Silent Arbiter.
So everybody can only attack with one creature. Everybody can only block with one creature. Well, you're attacking, and then your creature comes in and it's already attacking, so you get to attack with 2.
You're always going to have the advantage attacking.
And then you're not having to worry about your Ilharg necessarily dying, because not a lot of people are going to have something that's bigger than a 6/6 to block with. If they do, don't attack them. Attack somebody else.
Just attack the other person. And then Thundermaw Hellkite.
That is the 1 damage to all flying creatures, and then tap those creatures.
So it's going to tap all those flying creatures.
Yep.
Motherfucker, there's a word one. Cosmotronic Wave.
Hey, good job.
Thank you.
So it does 1 damage to all opponents' creatures. So you wipe out those tokens, but then also none of those creatures can block this turn.
Yeah, that's a 4-mana sorcery. That seems like a good way to get through. And then Glaring Spotlight, which was a spec.
Yeah.
This is one that's intrigued me a couple times, and it does get cut. But Forge Stoker Dragon, 5/4 flyer, and then when it's attacking, you can pay a red and a colorless to deal 1 damage to any creature, and then that creature can't block.
So I came across this one as I was finding my cards to put in the deck, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And I actually text Larry, I was like, I can use this, right? Because it's attacking already.
It's not like when it attacks.
Yeah.
It's whenever it is attacking.
Yeah, so the thing is this comes into play. You hit the creature that would kill your Ilharg or even this, and then that can't block anymore, and you get through. Or
just like machine gun down a bunch of 1/1s.
Just start taking stuff down.
Because your mana's open like you were talking about. Like that seems pretty solid in this. And then you got 2 of the swords. So Sword of Light and Shadow is for just getting creatures back from the graveyard.
So it's my recursion. Hey, I got my recursion, Larry.
See, you're learning. And then,
but it also gives you protection, so that you can put it on Ilharg, and then you can go through and hit somebody that.
And gaining life isn't bad either, because putting it on.
That might be my only life gain in this deck. Is that right there?
Yeah, and with these, you have to deal the damage to have that effect take place. But with a 6/6 Trampler, they're going to have to go out blocking you. And then the next one, Sword of Feast and Famine. Being able to untap your lands is amazing. Yeah,
so drop your big fatty because you have a lot of mana. At the beginning of your attack phase, attack, gets through, untap, play another one. You know, you could potentially play 3 bigger creatures because, like I've been saying with all this stuff, they're freaking high casting costs. 3 big creatures that turn, come into play, enter the battlefield type thing. And then my last package,
your Douche Canoe cards.
Douche Canoe, but there is a note to it. There is some. Oh, you got it. Okay.
So Disrupt Decorum, which we put on like game-winning spells, basically.
And we just talked about the goading, so that just goads everybody's creatures, all your opponent's creatures, so they can't attack you.
Aggravated Assault, which you pay 5 and you're able to take another attack step.
So you get to do it again.
Which you're putting another big creature attacking with essentially 3 big creatures that second time. That seems mean.
And then so we have Blood Moon. Magus of the Moon. I've wanted to use these.
And, that makes sense in a
mono red.
Deck.
Yeah. This is the first time I ever got to use these. This one's a shout out to you.
Yeah, Kazul, Tyrant of the Cliffs. So whenever somebody attacks you, they have to pay 3 for each creature that's attacking.
If they don't,
or you create a 3/3 for each attack.
This could be one of our token cards. Did you pay 3?
Did you pay 3? That definitely could be one. Yeah. Remind them.
No, what is it? It's a digicard.
It's a digicard. Did you?
Digicard.
Did you? Warstorm Surge. Whenever you have a creature come into play, it gets to deal damage to its power to any target.
Yeah,
either creature and player.
And then Perforos.
God of the Forge.
So yeah, I think the part that I'm nervous about is the high casting cost of everything.
I would be nervous, yes. I would definitely be nervous.
But I feel like there's enough setup where it won't seem threatening at the beginning, and then I have enough take. Like,
oh, you think so?
I'm hoping, unless you get into people's.
I'm not doing
heads.
Anything.
Yeah,
don't worry about me.
I would say 60 to 70% of the time, the person that does the least in the beginning ends up winning the game. Because everybody
unless
beats
you're
down.
me, and then everybody's just like, I'm going to kill you.
We just got to kill you.
Yeah,
that's always... the number one thing to do. So I'm
Commander theory just never works for me.
I'm excited to play this because
it seems powerful. You're definitely throwing haymakers all over the place.
if I can survive to like turn 6 or 7, I think it could deal some damage. I got to check the curve on it, and we'll see when I start putting this in tapped out. Because I think it's going to be by far the highest curve on everything.
But I think, like I said, it's going to be pretty powerful.
Yeah.
And so you can be swinging in for 10, 12 damage, and whenever you're kind of doing that, and if you're able to stop them from attacking you, like you have like crawl space and stuff like that, and their silent arbiter is great. So I think as long as you're stopping that crackback, it should be really good. It's
hard. This is my first monocolor deck in a long time. I think the last one was the pre-con with Nissa, the elf one, the one that you could have as your commander. Was it Nissa?
No, that wasn't Nissa.
What's her name?
Freyalise.
Freyalise, that's right. That's my last, I think, monocolored.
That was a long time ago.
I know. I took that deck apart a while back. So it was interesting because you're limited to, of course, red and artifacts. And so when you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I get rid of the... Oh, shit.
I can't do anything.
It's really tough. How do I draw cards?
Now,
fuck.
We've ragged on mono red for like a couple months now, and then this is powerful enough to make you go, yeah, I can build with this.
It'll make you go, Get it?
No. What?
Things that'll make you go, It's a song. All right.
Oh, is it?
Huh. All right, let's move on to the last topic because we are over an hour. Hey, good job.
All right, so Mythic Edition.
Three.
We kind of went over that last week, and it seems pretty awesome.
So this is probably going to be sold out. They came out and said that there's going to be 12,000 copies that they're going to be, or copies, I guess copies.
Yeah,
boxes. But it's the same thing as the other ones, 2 per household, $250 a piece plus tax. The thing is with Jace being in here, and Ugin is basically the money make. I mean, that's how you make your whole box back. I kind of broke down a little bit of the numbers. Long story short, if you took the low end, every low end foil that's printed besides the two new ones, Gideon and Nicol Bolas, you just kind of go with what they have for their price.
Yeah, that's a little hard.
You're sitting at $420 if you sold all $420. Smoke some weed, man.
No, that's an illegal activity.
Some states, some people are listening. It's legal. Not here. It's Minnesota. We are the middle of the pack. we're not.
We're basically Puritans.
But $420. That's still like. You're still making $200-ish.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe. Well, after everything's all said and done, I guess they didn't do the shipping and everything added in there because that's not the price I'm going off of. This is all taking the bare minimums. I had Jace going at $130 from the vaults, which we kind of talked about, or maybe me and you talked about it outside of the podcast, where for some reason from the vault foiling people don't like as much because it's more like. It's thicker.
It's a little bit thicker. They tend to curl pretty heavy. But the Lorwyn, or the FTV, the Lorwyn, what the fuck? The FTV foil is the same price as a normal Jace the Mind
Sculptor. Right, exactly. So what is it? Not Masters 25.
There's Masters 25 or World Wake.
Yeah, so Masters 25, that's a $200, it's over $200. So if you take the actual, it's a full art, it's foil, it's different art. All these have different art, which is really cool.
More than likely, it's going to be over $200.
Yeah. So I had this sitting at Jace at $250, Ugin at $250. I took all the other ones. I mean, Tezzeret, I think that might be around $50.
I think that one's easily $50. It's gorgeous.
It's in 16,000 EDH decks, and so that's by far the most used one out of all the ones that are in this. Then you got Garruk at I put at $50 because the regular or non-foil, no, it's foils, but what is it? Apex was in M13 or something like that. I think it was.
Yeah.
That's at 25. Your promo black foils are at 50. So I kind of equivalent this to that, maybe. I would like these better than the black foils.
That association would make sense. The black foils are.
I heard they were kind of tough to.
Yeah.
I mean, they're tough to see too, aren't they?
Also
the foiling?
true, I think.
So
I haven't seen them in person, but.
Long story short, the prices I think this is going to be at is $800 plus if you sold all 8 planeswalkers.
Not including shipping.
Not including
and
shipping
all the
handed.
fees
So
and
you
whatnot.
take that in times 0.13, which is 10% of eBay and 3% from PayPal. Then you add $3 in for each card you sell. So that's 8.
You're getting a little
16,
bit below
$24. I think then you're sitting at.
Oh man.
Well, I'm going to calculate.
Well, it should be
so
more than $89 off.
$890 times 0.13 is $115 plus. What did I just say? 8, 16, 24. So you're looking at $140 off of that price. So let's just round it down.
$750
and say, yeah, $750-ish is what
for the
you're
box, and plus you're getting free cards.
24 packs.
Yeah.
So the thing is if you buy 2 of them, the one you sell
one.
all the 8 and you made money, you get to keep your 8 and 48 packs. Like,
yeah, that seems. I am pretty tempted to buy this.
what?
Even,
Did you get some donation from listeners? I'm just kidding. He
I
did
complained
not.
and they put my bill on hold.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I sat on hold for 40 minutes. But it's like,
you're like, I want a
Sons of
Mythic
bees.
Edition 3. Can you please put this on hold? Because I've been sitting here for so long and I want to buy this box, you bastards.
that is not how that worked.
But and I know for Mythic Edition 2, I broke down the numbers. It was not breaking down the numbers. I broke down the numbers and I showed that it's still going to be profitable. And
that one was like, yeah, you're going to eat that one. This one is just obvious. Clearly the value's there.
And kind of an update for Mythic Edition 2, I have more than half of them sold. No, not even half. No, it's more than half of them sold. Right now, the pace I'm on is I'll probably make a couple $100 off of that. Off of a 4-month hold, 4 month on that, and I still get my 8. It isn't as crazy as this one or Mythic Edition 1.
Really quick.
This one, I mean, just Jason Ugin itself, you can sit there and sell those 2 and make your money back pretty much. So that's kind of our specs for this week, because I started selling all my stuff and not buying specs really this week or the last week, because I'm trying to get enough money back to be able to buy these. Yeah.
And so this is being released May 1st.
At 2 p.m. Central, it's 3 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
On the eBay store, so it's the same thing as the Mythic Edition 2. This time they specifically said there's 12,000 copies, where last time they're like, I don't know how many there are. Just log on and find out, and maybe at some point we'll be sold out. This time they're saying there's 12,000. So if you take that and everybody buys, there's 2 boxes per person, there's really only 6,000
people that will
in
be
the
buying
world,
this.
because it's not just the U.S., it's the world is getting access to this. So I'm thinking this is only going to be 5 minutes. I honestly think this is not going to be on there. No, I'm saying this and it's going to be on there for like a day or 2, but seriously, I think with that few of copies and what's in this, I don't think it's going to last that long. I shouldn't be so specific and say 5 minutes, but I don't think it'll
don't wait too long.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to make it like the last one did. It's definitely not going to make it like the last one did.
No, the last one was bad.
I like some of the cards. I choked as I was saying it.
Yeah, that's how you can tell Adam's lying.
You just don't like it because you didn't like Jaya.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good reason.
So just pretend like she wasn't there, and it was really good. Hey, I got my foils. I got a couple foil shocks out of it, and
sure.
out of my packs.
So, all right. But I am tempted by this one.
Are you going to?
And Jace, and do I have to be put on the spot? I'm probably too lazy to do this. I'll be honest.
What? Come on. You know how to use eBay.
Honest. I know.
Sorry, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. That's how we are as fathers.
Get used to it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that should do it for this week's episode. You guys can follow us on Twitter
At CommanderSmiths.
Check us out at YouTube. Subscribe.
At CommanderSmiths.
And Gmail us with shot suggestions for next time. And what else are we doing? Oh, the token cards.
At CommanderSmiths. That's what I'm doing right now. Why are you making this more complicated?
What's our last one? YouTube?
Patreon. At CommanderSmiths.
CommanderSmiths / something. I don't know. Just
it'll
go to
linked.
We'll have it linked.
All of this will be linked. Not all of it, but some of it will be linked.
All right. So what do we got next week? I think it's you next week.
Oh, I'm going to be doing Oketra Spotlight.
So we got 4 weeks of Spotlight here coming up.
Spotlight
When it's all done. All right. Well, that should do it for this week. Check out our YouTube to see the one with battle boxes. It'll be later this week coming out.
And check around Thursday.
Yeah, probably around there. Wait, now you're putting the deadline on me to have it. I'm moving, fucker.
Yes, I am putting a deadline on it.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.